There's literally,
Is this really going to be two against one? You're literally both talking at me at the same time.
I'm not talking.
Of you speak at one time. I can't respond to two of you.
I can have my own opinion on the legal justification for removing this person. Rubio has legal justification.
Okay, but the government disagrees with you that you're here to defend.
You're saying no. They
I agree. He does have legal justification.
You're saying,
unless the Supreme Court shoots it down.
Different, which is that there's.
I'm saying it's unconstitutional.
No law
I'm saying that's unconstitutional. Let me say it slowly then. Rubio has the power to remove someone he believes is against US foreign policy.
Yes.
That is not someone who's broken the law. That just gives him immigration power. Nobody is suggesting Mahmoud Khalil has broken the law. He hasn't been charged with breaking any law.
I understand.
He was disappeared to Louisiana.
I understand what you're saying.
You say you want to demonize and criminalize
quiet
them.
for a second. So Piers brought up that they
this whole thing is about free speech.
7th. I would actually agree.
I'm not going to be quiet.
You can celebrate October 7th.
I'm not a green card holder, Dan. You can't disappear me here as well.
Will you be quiet?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. This doesn't seem like a debate. It seems like a full-blown expose of gaslighting and hypocritical circus masquerading as politics. Mehdi Hasan isn't here to play nice. He's pissed, and rightfully so. Somebody just got railroaded out of the country for the crime of check notes, having an opinion. Meanwhile, Dan Crenshaw is flopping around like a fish on a dock, screeching about terrorism sympathizers, while offering all the evidence of a toddler explaining why bedtime is unfair. Spoiler, there is none. Just a steaming pile of fear-mongering and a bad faith. And Piers Morgan? Buddy's out here lobbing accusations like grenades with no pin. What about Halloween? What about shutting the hell up until you got receipts? This isn't about free speech, it's about power. Who gets to speak, who gets silenced, and how the hell they'll weaponize words like terrorism to crush anyone who dares to stand against Israel. If you're done swallowing this sanitized corporate-approved version of this BS, strap in. This video is a flamethrower to the status quo. Oh, before you rage quit to go yell at a cloud, they will be talking over each other a lot. And if you do decide to leave, smash that like button, share this video with everyone who's equally fed up, and let's turn this comment into a war zone. The truth's messy, let's get messier.
Let me ask Mehdi a question then. Should people who are in the United States...
let's poll the American people, okay. That's how we protect civil liberties, do we, Dan? we poll the American people.
Mehdi, let me ask you a question.
Be curious what they think.
Should somebody who's in America on a green card be allowed to support a terror organization? Because according to all the paperwork you fill in when you apply for a green card, if you do support one, you would not be given a green card. Hamas are a prescribed terror group in the United States. He has supported Hamas. Therefore, if the United States government if they wanted to revoke his green card, they are perfectly within their rights to do so, as Dan has articulated.
Not true. Piers, you don't... No, Dan has not articulated that at all. No law has been cited that says you can revoke his green card because of his speech. Piers, you don't know what you're talking about. You can't revoke a green card because you don't like someone's speech.
If you support a terror group,
where's your evidence of that,
you would not get a green card.
Where's your evidence of that, Piers?
It's US
Piers,
Code
you can't just say stuff. Where's your evidence for that? Is this really going to be two against one? You're literally both talking at me at the same time.
I'm not talking.
You speak at one time. I can't respond to two of you. No, Piers asked me a question. No, Piers asked me a question, Dan. No, Dan, Piers asked me a question. I'm responding to Piers. So if you can hold your point. Piers asked me about withdrawing a green card. I'm telling you, Piers, there is no evidence he supports Hamas. If there was, they would have arrested him for it. They didn't charge him with supporting Hamas.
The organisation that he fronts, actually described October the 7th as a victory. They described October the 7th as a victory.
That's a speech. Piers. And that's free speech in this country. Maybe you live in the UK, you don't know about the First Amendment. In this country, it's offensive.
Is it supporting Hamas?
It's not a crime. Is it? If you say October the 7th is a victory, and I have not seen a quote from...
There's a reason I read the quote that I read, because
by the way,
it's an
Piers, it's been 4 days.
It's been 4 days.
And it's not from him. Nice try, Dan, but the quote wasn't from him. There's 4 days. The US government and Fox News have had 4 days. To produce all sorts of stuff: video evidence, photographic evidence. Quote. They've got nothing, which is why they're not charging him with a crime.
Well, let's see.
And they're saying he's aligned with Hamas.
Piers,
can I finish the sentence? They're saying he's aligned with Hamas.
You can't just say people are. You don't do that.
Should I say, Piers? Piers, you're aligned with Hamas. Should we just throw around accusations? I mean,
I don't front an organisation that made a statement.
That's the last time I checked what America says.
No, just to be clear, I don't front an organisation.
Unfortunately, Piers, there's free
Sorry,
speech.
just to finish my point, you asked me a question.
I thought the show was called Uncensored.
It is. You have to let me respond to your questions. If you ask me a question, or Dan, let us respond. Don't just then talk over us. It's quite straightforward. And I would say that I do not front an organisation which has put out statements describing October the 7th as a victory. If you do, you are a supporter of Hamas.
Which organisation
if
is
you
that,
support Hamas, you are supporting a terrorist organisation, and as such, you would be in breach.
Which organisation put that statement out, Piers?
The student group that he
claims. Which organisation
the student
put that statement
group
out?
that he fronts, whatever
Which
they're
student
called.
Group?
What's it called?
Which student group?
Whatever the CUAD.
You can't just make wild accusation without evidence.
It's not. The
CUAD did not call October the 7th a victory, as far as I'm aware.
It's in their statement.
The CUAD has not called. The CUAD has not called October the 7th a victory.
Yes, they have.
It's called Columbia University Apartheid Divest.
No, I don't think they have.
That's what it's called.
They have, and I will show you.
That's what they campaign for.
And
they
another
have,
quote from them.
I actually know more about this group than you do, because they have Jewish members who have written for Zeteo, and they do support divestment, Dan. They want to divest from the genocide that you support and you fund. You fund the genocide in Gaza. They want to divest from it. You want to demonize and criminalize them.
For a second. So Piers brought up that they were
this whole thing is about free speech.
7th. I would actually agree.
I'm not going to be quiet.
You can celebrate October 7th.
I'm not a green card holder, Dan. You can't disappear me as well.
Will you be quiet? So I would agree that you can celebrate October 7th. I think you're disgusting for it, but no, you can't be arrested.
You want everyone
but when
to be
you
quiet.
say something like "We are Westerners fighting for the eradication of Western civilization," you are crossing the line.
That is not a crime. That's free speech.
Incitement of
no,
you
Dad,
are confused about the law.
Are you kidding me?
Incitement of violence.
You've lost your mind if you think
eradication of our civilization is a violent call.
Is a crime?
Yes.
No, it's not.
Yes, call for violence is indeed a crime.
I don't agree with it, but.
Yes, it is.
Free speech in this country is a very broad definition. You cannot arrest people for speech crimes. And by the way, there's no incitement of coming from the Republican Party, which sends a mob to the Capitol to attack people like you, and all those people were pardoned. Dan,
what does destruction mean?
Spare me your faux morality. Your party pardoned 1,500 domestic terrorists.
My party didn't pardon anyone.
I haven't heard you condemn Donald Trump.
My party didn't pardon
Yes,
anyone.
they did. They supported Donald Trump.
They were. What are you even
Okay, will you condemn it now? Will you condemn Donald Trump? Yes. Will you condemn Donald Trump pardoning violent terrorists?
I tell you what. Why don't we move? Why don't we? Okay, time out. We've run out of time.
No.
We've run out of time.
We've
run out of time.
Will you condemn?
We've run out of time. Why don't we try and end on a point of agreement?
Will you condemn?
Why don't we try and end?
Dan won't do it.
Why don't we try and end? Why don't we try and end where you both agree about something, right? Which is
they actually did violence, unlike Mahmoud Khalil, who did no violence.
I'm bringing it to an end, but I want to try and end on a point you may both agree about, which is Dan's ongoing spat with Tucker Carlson. Now, this began when there was you were caught off. You thought you were off camera, still on mic, saying he was the worst person. We've talked a lot on Twitter. If I ever meet him, I'm going to effing kill him. You then said, I think anyone seriously watching and being honest with themselves knows that was hyperbole. You said in private, and no, Tucker has nothing to worry about. I've absolutely no desire to harm him. And then Tucker went on a podcast with commentator Chris Josephs on his podcast, and he said this about you, Dan.
Tell us about my all-time favorite member of Congress, Dan Crenshaw.
Yeah. So he's a tough one. He's a hothead on Twitter now.
He's out of control.
Yeah, I don't understand why he's taken this stance a little bit.
Because I think his personal life is out of control.
Yeah, because he used to be like a right-wing darling. Like he was, with the Navy SEALs, I think early on. Again,
not with me. I always thought he was a freak and a warmonger.
Really? Yeah.
Weirdo, yeah. He's a freak and a warmonger weirdo, but yeah.
He's showing it now.
Dan, your response to being a freak, a warmonger, and a weirdo?
Yeah, well, this is typical for Tucker. Tucker has no actual substance, right? He's been attacking me since 2022, when he became obsessed with me. I live rent-free in that little mongrel's head. And people ask me all the time, like, why does he hate you? And I'm like, the fact that you can't answer that question is indicative of the fact that he has no actual substance. See, I can tell you why Mehdi disagrees with me. I can tell you why Mehdi doesn't like me. At least he has. I disagree with them all, but at least he has things that he disagrees with me on. Tucker never actually says anything. It's just insults. He'll use my war wound to insult me. He's a weird, bad guy. I mean, and people should not be tricked by his supposed stance against the DC insider elites, right? Because he literally is that. I mean, what's on the, people should know, what's on the Hunter Biden laptops? What's funny? Emails from Tucker Carlson to Hunter Biden, asking Hunter Biden for help to get Tucker's son into Georgetown. Tucker's a silver spoon-fed trust fund baby, went to boarding school guy. It's just the epitome of the DC elites who pretends to fight against it in order to corner a market in the media. You know, he's begged us to go on his show since that time. We said, look, why don't you do, how about a moderated debate? And he said, oh no, we're not going to do that. So, you know, he's not, I don't think he's a very serious person. I think he used to be. Don't see that anymore, right? It's like I'm out of control on Twitter because every once in a while I respond harshly to lies told about me. Yeah, I just don't take it lying down. Yeah, that's me. No, I apologize to no one for it.
Well, the incredible thing about what you've just been saying is I saw Mehdi repeatedly nodding in agreement. So we seem to have reached a point of agreement. Mehdi.
I mean, I'll say two things very quickly. One is we heard Dan read out a quote from the CUAD, which I don't think is incitement to violence. And then I heard Piers read out a quote from Dan that sounded pretty violent, even though he says he was joking. But on Tucker Carlson, I can't disagree with Dan's assessment. One of the things that really drives me up the wall is this, and I know you had a very chummy sit down with him in Saudi Arabia, but he is the fake anti-establishment persona really does great with me.
Well, I like Tucker, and I enjoyed my ding-dong with him over in Saudi. It wasn't by any means a chummy sit-down. If you've watched particularly one that he aired on his channel, he came after me very strongly about Ukraine, and I gave it back with bells on.
All right, folks, let's wrap this up like a burrito of truth. Stuffed with facts, extra spicy, and definitely too hot for hypocrisy to handle. Dan Crenshaw waltzed into this debate like a kid wearing a Constitution Defender cape, only for Mehdi to yank it off and reveal he's been rocking pajamas this whole time. Free speech for me, but not for thee. Dan's out here running a free speech buffet, piling his plate sky high while slapping everyone else's hands away. Sorry, sir, the free amendment is closed for Palestine. And let's talk about Piers Morgan playing the referee like a guy who brought a whistle to a rocket fight. But what about Halloween? Bro, you can't just toss out accusations like confetti and then act shocked someone asks, where's the party? Spoiler, there was no party, just confetti made of nothing. Drop a comment more furious than Dan's backtracking. And subscribe because this circus ain't closing anytime soon. And as always, stay loud, stay skeptical, and remember, if we don't roast these double standards now, who will? Catch you the next one.